Alrighty then. Hello? Are we on? Are you on? Can you check if you're on?
I'm always on, baby.
How do some couples continuously elevate their passion? Is there truly only one perfect person for us? Or maybe what we practice and how we think will ultimately nurture or destroy a relationship? Crank up the volume while we dive into the depths of love, passion, and sex to uncover simple concepts that will both surprise you and transform your life forever. Welcome to Intimacy Exposed. I'm going to start by introducing my husband, John.
Hello, I'm John.
And I'm Crystal. And we're going to start with a little overview about the night we met. John is typically the guy who ends up, the person in the relationship who ends up talking about this because he gets into such great detail and I love hearing it. But we're going to go back and forth and talk about it. The night that we met is actually our anniversary is coming up, April 30th, 2011. 8 years coming up. And so it started out, I was actually out for a celebration with my friends for her graduation from the police academy. And it was exciting. You know, I was dating someone at the time, but I went out with some friends and we were just going to go celebrate, have some drinks, no big deal. And then you tell about where you started the night.
Yeah, I was out with some friends and left that. The night was kind of shutting down a little bit earlier than normal and decided to stop really quick just to check out on the rocks because I knew some people that were also going to be at that same graduation party and found something much more valuable than what I expected.
Okay, so the story I always get from John is that he's like driving and he comes to like a fork in the road and it's so dramatic because he's driving and then he's got to go over the bridge and he comes and there's a fork in the road and he can go left, which is to on the rocks where he'll meet his fate, or he goes right and he goes home to his boring early night where he doesn't have anything fun happen. And it's like his car took over and completely almost like went up on two wheels and he turned over and went over the bridge and then that was the rest of his life. So that was the really calm version. I hope he like pumps it up a little bit, but that's what happened. So we call that night serendipity. We didn't really know it that night or even like use that word very often, but what happened was the bar that we were at was an old brick building and the reception in there sucked. So you're trying to text your friends, like, come meet me here. My little sister was in town and we couldn't get through to each other through text. So she ended up not being able to meet up because I couldn't quite get to her and tell her where exactly we were. And so all these like little tidbit things happened that should have never happened. And so that's why we call it a serendipitous night. Ended up being kind of a cool theme throughout the rest of our life till now. But so yeah, I'm having drinks with my friends, meeting a bunch of people. And then it's not really that busy in the bar yet. And all of a sudden, John shows up.
All right. So yes, I am actually the storyteller of the relationship, so let's just eliminate that first couple minutes and let's dive right into what really happened. I really was compelled at the last second to make a turn off the bridge back downtown. No idea why, but I did. Showed up, went inside, immediately was introduced to Crystal and thought, holy crap, I want to sleep with this girl.
Hey.
That's exactly what I thought. I wasn't curious about what are her hobbies or what kind of books does she read.
What are her hopes and dreams?
Yeah, none of that. Because let's be honest, the very first thing, if you're truly honest with yourself, is the physical attraction. If the physical attraction is not there, it doesn't matter about all the other stuff. So I was drawn to her. Gorgeous, bubbly personality, big, beautiful eyes, curly brunette hair. I was done. I was done before I even started. And I had created this silly little rule in my head throughout years and years of going to bars when I was younger and single, that if a girl that you don't know comes up to a guy, and the guys will know what I'm talking about when I say this, and says, hey, do you want to buy me a drink? That's your first indication that she's really not into you, and you probably shouldn't buy her a drink because it's not going to actually lead to anything. But I had just met this girl, and she was friends of friends that I knew, and right after I met her, she said, "Hey, do you want to go get a drink?" So we go over to the bar. It was Crystal, myself, and another friend who had just graduated. And in my head, I'm thinking, great, I meet this bombshell, this absolute stunner. And I was single at the time, dating a few women at the same time, and I had no intentions of a relationship. So I was more disappointed because it was like, great, this silly rule in my head means that I'm going to ignore her. The second we're done this drink, it's over. I'm not talking to her again. She obviously doesn't value anything that I value. All she wants is a free drink. I'm not even going to bother trying to get her number or sleep with her. It's over. I'm done. Walking away. And so we go do a shot. And the whole time I'm thinking how disappointed I am that this beautiful girl I'm not going to get to know. And other things. And we do the shot. And just as the empty shot glass hits the table, out of nowhere, Crystal throws a $20 bill down on the table and says, "Thanks a lot," and then walks away.
And by the way, this is back when 3 shots actually cost, you could cover with tip $20, which doesn't happen now.
$20 Canadian, I should mention. It's like $3 American or something. So I had already made up my mind that she was this type of person and I wasn't going to be interested in her, and I had no interest in even talking to her anymore. And then she completely turns my world upside down when she buys this drink and walks away. And immediately my mind went from, I need to sleep with this girl, to, oh, wow, this girl's really interesting. This is kind of mysterious. Like, she's got some values that I didn't expect. I wonder what she likes. I wonder what books she likes to read. I wonder where she likes to travel. What does she do on the weekends? And I'm not joking. I found myself the rest of the night trying to be cool and calm and not lead on. Yet I was scanning the bar all night. Where is she? Where is she? I got to see her. I got to see her. I got to talk to her again. All night. Wouldn't stop.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to lead this next part into how he took a moment of trying to be cool. So right after doing the shot, I'm like, thanks. All right. Awesome. Let's hit the dance floor. So we go out onto the dance floor and there's this like song that everyone knows and everyone dances to, and it's exciting. And John follows me out onto the dance floor. You know, keeping in mind I have a boyfriend. I'm not actually like interested in picking anyone up at this point because I'm dating someone and I'm just being friendly and, you know, kind of flirty. And so we start dancing and everything. And then he's like dancing, getting his groove on. And all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, I love the Bee Gees." And there's complete silence. Because we are listening to Getting Jiggy With It by Will Smith. As he's shaking his head right now.
This is a true story.
Yes, it's very true.
I will never live this one down.
As you should not. It was hilarious.
I have nothing to say.
No, okay, I'll keep going. So hilarious. I'm thinking, what is this guy talking about? The Bee Gees is like the back in the 70s or something. Like
I don't want to talk about this. Can we edit this out?
Okay, no, we can't.
Okay,
we'll talk about it.
All right.
So that's kind of what happened, and that was interesting. I kind of gave my eyes a little bit of a roll, but so, you know, like the night carries on and he's talking about scanning the bar for me. And you know what? I could feel it. I could feel like a laser beam coming across the bar. And, you know, like it was flattering and everything, but I've got a boyfriend, so I'm not interested in that. I'm just like talking to other people and we're kind of walking around the bar and just having a really good time. And then I'm standing talking to someone who's been introduced to me by other friends or whichever. And I feel a hand on my hip. I'm like, well, that's not my hand on my hip. Whose hand is on my hip? Yeah, it's John's. He's coming. He's like standing beside me as I'm talking to this guy, and he's got his hand on my hip. What is he thinking? As he's laughing.
I think everybody knows what I was thinking. I don't think I have to say anything.
Yeah. So he's got his hand on my hip. It's getting towards the end of the night, and yeah, I don't know. He's this good-looking guy who's in great shape, and I heard he was a personal trainer. And what I know about him at this point is that he's got a pit bull, and he saved this pit bull from being euthanized from another province in Canada. And that's our boy named Copper. And before he got to the bar, actually, his roommate, was dating my girlfriend, showed me pictures of his roommate's pit bull, and he's got like one white paw in front, and he said it's, you know, kind of looked like he had stepped in a wet paint can or had like the whole Michael Jackson glove on, which I thought was really cute. But I knew he saved pit bulls, and he worked with the Pit Bulls for Life organization in Edmonton, and I thought that was really cool. And so yeah, towards the end of the night, so John's stepping in, I guess.
All right. The story is going sideways here. Let me get it back on track. So, yes, I may or may not have put my hand on her hip while she was talking to another individual of the male gender. And that carried on. I actually had to go a little bit later. So, again, I scanned and I kind of waited till the perfect moment when she was near the front entrance of the bar so that I could say goodbye and get her number before I left, because I was absolutely stunned. And I completely did a 180, and I knew I needed to see this girl again. And keep in mind, at this point, I did not know she had a boyfriend. And so the end of the night comes, go to the front of the bar, say goodbye to a few of my friends, and I go up to her and I'm like, listen, I did not expect to meet you. This was like incredible. I had a great time with you. I really need to see you again. And all of a sudden she's like, I'm terribly sorry. I must have given you the wrong impression, but like, I have a boyfriend. And just as she utters these words, this other girl, this mutual friend, comes right over, puts an arm over me, puts an arm over Crystal, and is like, hey guys, how's it going? And I knew that this girl kind of liked me, really sweet girl, but I was not interested. So while this girl has her arm around me and around Crystal, I look to Crystal and I say, well, like I just said, I really need to get your number. I need to see you again. And she kind of paused and was like, okay. And then my mystical spells worked and I got her number. Invited her to a barbecue the next day with mutual friends at my house.
Well, and I knew my friend was going to the barbecue and that you were having this barbecue, so I kind of thought it was safe that I wasn't, you know, like cheating on my boyfriend. I thought that it would be, I don't know. I say that, and I've like never, before meeting John, I'd never dated anyone longer than 2 months. So, you know, like never had any serious relationships at the age of like 27. So it was a very interesting moment. I felt like I was doing something wrong, but I felt like no big deal because we're just friends. And so, yeah, I ended up giving him my number, and yeah, when he phones me or you texted me the next day, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, making fun of me or something about how I might be feeling after having a couple of shots.
Yep.
As I'm swinging on my hammock on my balcony.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was pretty much the end of that night. Funny little addition to the end of the first night, because I think it kind of rolls into our story. The second day, so the Sunday, she came over for the barbecue, and we did have mutual friends. It was not ill-intended. I just needed to see her again. I was absolutely overwhelmed that night, and I needed to see her again. So she came. And, you know, she calls me, yeah, I'm a couple minutes away. I just want to confirm, like, where do I turn? I tell her. I wait for her at the front door. She comes, and she's walking up to the front door. And all I can think is, man, this girl is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And she comes inside, says hi, immediately proceeds to say hi to everybody else, and then beelines it straight to the back corner of my kitchen. Right in the back corner at the other side of the table, surrounded by people, the only empty chair, and sits down. And literally, it's like a castle moat. There's like alligators and drawbridges, and I can't actually physically talk to her or sit next to her. And I'm like, okay, challenge accepted.
Okay, so it was a table of 4 chairs, so it wasn't that bad.
They were big chairs. So, unbeknownst to me, what I didn't realize, what she told me later, is that, and I knew it after she said it, but I didn't realize it at the time. I don't know if she consciously knew this or not, but she came over and was just a mess. She didn't do her hair. I'm pretty sure she didn't shower. That can't be confirmed. She was wearing sweatpants with a glue stain on it. She was wearing a hoodie, basically trying to make herself look as unattractive as possible and push herself in the furthest corner possible so that she could probably just say to herself, yeah, see, didn't work out. That's why I'm supposed to be with my boyfriend. It's all good. The guy's just another guy. Have a nice life. Goodbye. Didn't work. We ended up taking my Pitbull Copper for a 2-hour walk around the neighborhood. I left my entire party, left my house, left everybody. We just went and we walked for 2 hours. Got back to my house. I tried
2 or 3 or 4. Like, we were around for a long time.
Yeah, I tried to kiss her again. She stopped me and said,
No.
Yeah, I got a boyfriend. You can't kiss me. And I was like, all right, no, that's fair. I respect that. We ended up sitting on my couch till about 4 a.m. talking.
I'm pretty sure you had to start training someone or doing a boot camp or something at like 5:30.
Yeah, I had to wake up at like 4:45. So it was amazing. It was overwhelming. And every night for the whole week, we talked on the phone for probably 3 to 5 hours. And she broke up with her boyfriend, I think on the Wednesday that week.
Oh, on the Friday. The day before we had a date.
And then, we went out for a date, and now we're here 8 years later with a baby in her belly.
With a baby in my belly. Yeah, that's pretty much how it went. I've never heard you tell it quite that way, but that's pretty much exactly what it was. Okay, so let me just give you a little backstory. I was an esthetician. I wore heels and skirts and dress pants and suits to work, where I had my hair and my makeup done. I literally never leave the house without, like, maybe I'm a little bit more relaxed now because I've been a student and everything, but I don't leave the house undone. I'm well kept. And he's right. I showed up at his house, and I'm also very much into crafts. I show up at his house, and I have a pair of sweatpants that I'm pretty sure has like a hot glue stain on it. I've got a sweater. I did not shower that day, that's for sure. But I had curly hair, so I could kind of, you girls, you can wing it. And I have never gone out to dinner at someone's house, especially who I didn't know, in sweatpants. So that must have been what I was doing. And I did put myself in the corner so that you couldn't come sit beside me because I knew that you liked me.
Didn't work. Nope.
So
persistence, boys. It pays off.
And there's all those things out there that say, if you're, maybe you guys have experienced this too, but as girls, it's just unfortunate all the times that you end up sitting waiting for someone to call you, that they don't call, and then you make up all these excuses as to why maybe they like you and they just couldn't get to a phone call. No, if someone likes you and someone wants to be with you, you will know about it. And there's that movie, I can't remember what it's called right now, but like he's just not that into you. It's just such an interesting take on it because you absolutely know if someone's into you. And Mr. Persistence over here definitely won me over. I was in the middle of doing a pedicure to one of my longtime clients, and I swear it was a migraine. It was something like no meds helped. I was just aching from my head to my toes, and I had the worst headache I've ever had in my entire life. And it was going on for about 2 days, and I'm sitting doing a pedicure, and I'm actually talking to my client about John and about, like, I can't believe this. Ever since this guy, I met him, and we're talking till 4 or 5 in the morning, and it's crazy, and I like him, but I'm dating this other guy, and that's silly for me to break up. And then when I think and I say out loud to my client, I think maybe this means that I should be with John. It was within minutes. My headache completely resolved. And I felt like no tension in my body. And it was like the most clear sign that I wish that all signs came this way. But I'm sure glad I listened to it because my life has never been the same. And I love you.
And I love you too very, very much.
So this is the story. That was actually a much longer version, but I liked it. I got to actually tell it with you. So hopefully you guys are still with us. It's actually one of the most favorite things that John and I like to do is relive that story, whether it's just thinking about it and talking about it or being in a group of people and just being able to actually share with other people and share the excitement, because that's kind of one of our favorite ways to keep our relationship young and alive and exciting, is just relive all those amazing moments.
Thank you for joining us on our first episode. We started this podcast because we are both extremely passionate about personal growth and development. Without fully understanding the benefits at the time, we actually began seeing a counselor at the beginning of our relationship to gain tools and learn more about ourselves. That eventually led to multi-day workshops, physical books, audiobooks, and as many other resources as we could get our hands on, because we saw such massive results. But we want to take you on a ride and share some of our most important lessons and discoveries that have made the biggest impact to us.
Whether you're single, looking for love, or have already found that special person, we aim to be the #1 resource to help you design your world-class relationship. For more information on topics and to join the conversation, please visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/world-class relationship. Join us next time for another episode of Intimacy Exposed.